Okay, I very recently had an issue come up for me, a physical issue that came up for me that was really annoying, frankly, really annoying and uncomfortable. And what I started to kind of notice, what do I do when stuff like that happens? Like, how do I respond to that? And I noticed that I get very, I don't know, ornery, sassy. I get very sassy with mortal mind. I get very like, are you kidding me? Seriously? You think I'm going to fall for that? And I get very kind of, I don't know, indignant in a way. Like, what are you thinking that you could even try to impress me with this, fool me with this, tempt me with this? I mean, this is ridiculous. It's not mine. Like, I really feel like this isn't mine. And no matter what the body is trying to say to me, I really stick with that. This isn't mine. This doesn't belong to me, and it doesn't belong to anybody. And that's the thing that is sort of the next step of prayer, of awareness in the spiritual laws. It's not just about what we're facing and what we're handling and what we're dealing with and the challenges that are coming up for us. We're claiming it for all of mankind. It's not just about us. So getting into that unselfed place of thought and really standing on those who have come before, who have demonstrated this science, demonstrated these divine laws. There have been a lot of demonstrations. Look back in the Bible, Old Testament, New Testament, look in the Quran, look in the Bhagavad Gita. I'm not saying that, but Bhagavad Gita. Look in all the spiritual texts that you've ever seen, and you can see demonstrations of this divine science. This is not it's secluded to a particular religion or way of thinking. This is a divine science, divine laws that govern man, that govern God's man. So don't be dismayed that you're the first one facing something, or that you're the only one with this critical issue that you're challenged with. Lean on those who have come before. You can look at Jesus as a really good example. You can look at Moses. You know, when he doubted himself, what did God say? Throw down the rod in your hand. It became a serpent. He said, catch the serpent. It became a rod again. Well, if that doesn't convince everybody that you're bringing the word of God to them, put your hand into your jacket, pull it out, it's leprous, put it back in, pull it out, and it's not leprous anymore. That these laws have been demonstrated that matter has no power. Matter has no power. It's not the reality of man. It has no power. Look at that example of Moses. He demonstrated it in an instant because he was doubting his own understanding. He was given an example that demonstrated it to him and he could use to demonstrate to others. What did he do to get that? He said, I hear what you're saying, God. I hear you want me to go and preach the word and lead the children to freedom, but why would they listen to me? I'm slow of speech. I don't really know how to say this stuff. Like, why would they believe me? God gave him an answer. Are we doing that? Are we asking when we are challenged by something? Are we asking for divine help? Are we turning to those who have come before? And are we leaning on that rod of demonstration, of spiritual understanding, and saying, okay, this has been demonstrated. And I'm not the first kid on the block here. I'm not the first one out of the gate. I can lean on those who have come before. So that's where my sassiness comes from, where I just say, it's not mine. And I'm not impressed. And I actually don't even know. I mean, I could sort of think now, I don't know, is there evidence still there? I don't know. I haven't checked. I'm not looking for the evidence of matter. All I know is has nothing to do with me. So it can try to impress, it can try to do its little dance, whatever. It's not the reality of my being. I am not material. I am not physical. I was not born into matter. I do not live in matter. That is not the nature of my being. The nature of my being is spiritual. The nature of my being is not physical or material. Have I claimed each day that I was not born into matter? I would offer the idea that that's a really good thing to do, that I am not material. I am not a material being. I am not a physical being. That I am spiritual, that I'm a spiritual idea. And that because I'm a spiritual idea, I am not confined or restricted or tempted by the ways of matter. Those quote unquote material laws have nothing to do with me. They don't apply to me. They don't pertain to me. I don't have to bow down to them. It's not a part of my being. The temptation is there a lot. That's not to say that the temptation isn't coming back over and over and over again. And every single time, I'm putting it down. And if I don't feel like I can, I'm asking God for help. If I feel for some reason in a place where I'm feeling vulnerable and I'm not feeling like on top of things, I'm reaching out to God instantly. I'm putting my hand in God's and I'm saying, God, you show me. Just like Moses, like, show me, God, I don't feel like I have the words. So if I feel like I don't have the words to put down the suggestions of mortal mind, God, I'm putting my hand in God's. I'm saying truth is real. Truth is all there is. Truth is ever present. And I am aware of truth. I am conscious of truth. I'm not making statements like, well, I'm not very good at this. Well, I don't think I know enough to demonstrate this. Even if those feelings come up in me, I'm not making those statements. Why would I work against myself? Why would I claim something about me that I don't want to be true? I'm not going to do that. And even if I think I'm just doing this just because this is like what I'm supposed to do, but I don't really believe it, I don't care. If I don't really believe it in the moment, I will, because I'm demonstrating it. This isn't rocket science, guys. This is not difficult. It does take discipline. There's a really good, you guys know Cesar Millan, the dog whisperer guy, the guy who trains, he has a TV show, or had, I don't know if he still does, but he wrote a book about training dogs. And I was in a mastermind this weekend and I was hearing somebody who had read the book. I have not read the book, though I would like to, because I'm sure it has a lot more to do than just training dogs. And he said there are 3 steps that a dog owner must take before loving up your dog, before doing these sort of affection and sort of hugs and kisses. Exercise, discipline, then affection. And if you do it in the wrong order, the dog thinks he's boss. So I thought, oh, that's interesting. That's exactly what I do in my daily practice. I exercise my God-given authority to go run and move my body and go, and I do it because it is an expression of discipline. Because there are many times when I don't really feel like getting out of bed early and going out and going for a walk or going for a run. Discipline is more important to me. So I get myself up and I go and I just put on my running stuff and I just go. And while I'm running, I'm listening to a spiritual podcast, or I'm listening to the lesson, the Christian Science Bible lesson, which many of you know. Some of you may not be in that realm, but that's kind of my practice and that's what I do. So whatever spiritual inspiration is available to you that you prefer, I would suggest doing that. I go into nature and I listen to the trees and I listen to the birds and I watch the sunrise and I look at the sky or the stars, depending on what time of year it is. Now it's looking at the stars if it's not too cloudy. Exercising my God-given dominion. Discipline. Disciplining thought to know what is true, to acknowledge what is true about you and not giving in to the suggestions, ever. Be disciplined in your thought about that. This is not, let's be wimpy. This is not, let's be wimpy. And then affection. And I mean, there is love in all of it, because love is exercising your God-given dominion, and love is discipline. Like that's the firm hand of love. And then there's the soft hand of love. But if you start with the soft hand of love, sometimes we miss the discipline part. And that's really important. Well, anyway, it is for dogs. That's the Cesar Millan version of how to train your dog. So if any of you have animals, there you go. But I think it is a good way to train that tendency in us to want to feel like we either can't or we don't have the energy, and we give into the temptation that goes with that belief of separation from source, that belief of separation from the divine. When we buy into that belief and we operate under that belief, it gets a lot tougher. So give yourself a break. I like to give myself a break. I don't want to operate in that realm because it's so much harder. It's so much more pressure. It's so much more painful. And it's all belief. It's not real. But if we buy into it and we accept it as the premise of our being, we're buying into the results of that. It's the cause and effect in matter. It's all in belief. But if you're governed by that belief, you're going to feel the effects of that belief. So do yourself a favor and start with the foundation that is true. There are a couple of things in that book, Science and Health, that I quote all the time by Mary Baker Eddy, where she talks about this divine science, that divine science rising above physical theories, right? It rises above physical theories. It has nothing to do with physical theories. It excludes matter because matter is nothing. We know this from quantum physics. We don't have to keep going over it. There is no matter. It resolves things into thoughts. So what's resolving things into thoughts? This science is resolving things into thoughts. Do we have to do that? The science has already done it for us. The demonstration has already been made. This is what I was talking about before. We can lean on what's come before. It resolves things into thoughts and replaces the objects of material sense with spiritual ideas. Resolves and replaces. Does that mean you're doing the work of it? It means you're applying, you're demonstrating the science. The science is the thing doing it. That's what science does. Because when we see through the eyes of this divine law, the law of good, that's what's happening. We don't have to make it happen. So there's no pressure on you personally to make it happen or to know all of the ins and outs. It's like the science has already been proven. The law already exists. There's another passage, same kind of idea. She talks about divine science rends asunder these fetters, the fetters that scholastic theology and material medicine and hygiene, those fetter faith and spiritual understanding. So those fetters. So divine science rends asunder these fetters. And man's birthright of soul allegiance to his maker, listen to this, asserts itself. So where's all the work in there for you? Where's all the struggle in there for you? Seems to me that she's telling us in no uncertain terms that divine science rends asunder the fetters, and man's birthright of soul allegiance to his maker asserts itself. We don't have to assert it. It gets asserted for us. We can accept it. We can call it in. We can declare it. We can acknowledge it. We can see it clearly. We can accept it, like really just accept the gift. That is the inheritance of man, right? Resolves things into thoughts, and replaces the objects of material sense with spiritual ideas. So let's go back to the original thing that I was talking about, this challenge that came up for me. So divine science, this science, these spiritual laws, replaced the things into thoughts. So I was no longer looking at the material issue that was tempting me to deal with it. It was replacing that with thoughts, resolving things into thoughts. So I knew I was dealing with thought. Wasn't dealing with a body, wasn't dealing with a physical issue, was dealing with thought. That's the first step, right? And then replaces material sense with spiritual ideas. So I'm in the process of seeing, oh yeah, this has nothing to do with matter. It's resolving things that I'm dealing with thought. Okay, so where in my thought can I look higher? Can I see past this problem for me? Well, wait, this isn't true for me and it's not true for anybody. And I'm not taking it on as mine. This isn't my problem. I think that's a really important piece to grasp hold of right away when you're challenged with something, when you're tempted by an idea that seems to be a problem. Really quickly, this isn't mine. It's not personal. It's an impersonal suggestion, temptation coming at you. And a lot of times it looks like a physical problem, a personality problem, a relationship problem, a financial problem. It looks like something very solid and real in your human experience. And when it looks that way, that's when you catch it right off the bat. It's not yours. It's not personal. It has nothing to do with reality. It's not a part of your nature and who you are. Having the confidence to stand in that place comes with practice. You guys all know this. You guys are all there. I'm not suggesting that each of you isn't already in this place. You are. Claiming it and taking hold of that place of dominion and standing there firmly and not giving in to the suggestions. And I'm probably going way long. Yeah, okay. Let's bring it in. So a couple of final thoughts. You know that Bible passage in, where is this? I think it's in Galatians. He giveth power to the faint, and to them that hath no might, he increaseth strength. Count on the fact that you are being given the strength that you need to overcome the beliefs of the physical senses. Just count on that. Count on the fact that you are being given the strength is being given to you, and that these laws are taking care of the resolution that needs to occur. You know, that stand up on thy feet, shake thyself from the dust. It's like we get to stand up. We don't have to grovel in the dust and be, the snake, the Adam and Eve dream that you're going to be a snake on the ground for the rest of your life. No, we're not in the dust. Shake the dust off your feet and stand on a clean platform with no dust, because we don't need the dust. So much love to you guys. It's Monday and we're starting strong this week. So today I challenge you, and I'm going to do this for all of us because I am facing down this issue and it's not mine and it's nobody's, and it's good. I actually really like the challenge. It's like, okay, let's practice. There's no danger. There's no, like, when physical stuff comes up, it's not dangerous. There's no power in it. So it's fun to laugh at mortal minds, And I know sometimes it's harder than I'm acting in this moment. I know sometimes it brings me to tears too. So you're not alone if you feel pushed to the edge of your limits. And I do have compassion. I'm not suggesting that I'm sort of laughing at you at all, but I do want to get to the place where we can laugh at mortal mind suggestions and just say, not on your life. There is no way. You're not going to dupe me. So anyway, getting back to what is our challenge for today? The challenge for today is to only make statements about yourself that you want to have as true in your life. And it takes some practice. If you're in the habit of making negative statements about yourself, be very alert and hear them come up and stop before they come out of your mouth or before you finish the sentence in your thought. Be really alert to those things that you have been claiming about yourself that are not true. If it's not true about God, it's not true about you. Don't claim it. Okay. If you haven't signed up for Ideas on Toast, go sign up. I want you guys in there. Good grief. I need some ringers in there to get the conversation going. So I'm counting on you guys. If you can make it. All right, lots of love. See you tomorrow.